week on Youth Questions, we talk about a student who's not doing so great in school. The grades are slipping, they're not doing so great on tests, and this person wants to know, how do I talk to my parents about that? This week we talk about that, plus about some other ideas and tips on how to improve your study habits so that you can do awesomely well. That's all coming up. Hey guys, my name is Tim Schmoyer and welcome to another week of Youth Questions, where every week we answer real questions from real teens about real life. And this week we have another great question. Hey, I am in grade 10 and my grades suck and I study and everything, but when test day comes, I just go blank. How do I tell my parents? I went out and asked this question to a couple of youth workers I know, and I took some time and answered it myself as well. Here's what we had to say.
Well, you know, I can relate to this. I was terrible with tests as well. I would study, and when the time took a test, I would freeze. Either I wouldn't forget things, or just like, I didn't remember studying that.
I feel like I'm answering a question that I would have asked back in high school. I was never a really great test taker.
I'm going to assume that you study well, you study hard, you're just really devoted to doing well, and you're still just coming up short on these tests. That could be legitimate, that does happen.
I could study however long that I wanted, I could try to retain the information, I could try to understand what was going on. And you know, I just never really did that well.
If that's you, then I would totally go tell my parents, but I would be prepared to tell them, look, here's what I'm trying, here's what I'm doing, can you help me? If you go into it with a humble attitude saying, hey, I really want help, I'm open to your advice, I'm open to your suggestions, your parents will respond way more favorably than if you just go with your hands in the air saying, I can't do it, I'm a total loser, nothing's gonna help me.
Let me tell you what not to do. Definitely not, don't tell your parents, okay? I did that, and then when I got my report card, it was bad. And I got in more trouble than I would have if I didn't.
Don't just talk to them about it, because your parents will know. They know your study habits in the past, growing up. They will know if you really are serious about this. So just don't tell them that you are. You gotta show it to them. You gotta change your actions.
My parents would ask me why, and I would say, well, I was doing terrible on my test and all this. And so what they basically told me is that you should have came to us. So my suggestion to you, my advice would be, go tell your parents.
Even if you've done everything that your parents have suggested that you do, you've changed your study habits, you've really started to focus in, you're dedicating time to this, and you're still just not doing well on tests, then maybe it's time to go talk to someone to help you, who can help you even more than what your parents are. Maybe like a tutor at school, or go to your teachers.
Maybe when you go to approach your parents, ask them what are some of their tips that they have. Like, how are they able to retain information? How are they able to take tests good in school? And just get their help and their advice.
Maybe take that to your parents and say, hey, I talked to my teacher about this test and they said I should do this, that, the other thing. I'm going to try it, so I want you to let you know I really am doing my best. This is just, I don't know, I'm just not doing the great on these tests.
At least parents I know of would be willing to help their child out if they knew ahead of time what was going on. And I'm assuming maybe your parents are probably the same way.
When you turn it around and you ask them for help, that is showing them that you really do care and you're really trying and you want to do better. And I think they'll appreciate that and will be more understanding as to why you're struggling a little bit with the test taking.
Even if you did try your best and you studied as hard as you could and you still just didn't do that great on the test, you are still valuable as a person.
Never be afraid to ask your parents for help. I know that sounds a little weird, and hey, as a teenager we think we know more than our parents, but as I've gotten older and I've had my own kids, I realized that they weren't so bad after all. They gave me some good advice and they helped me out through some situations when I did tell them.
Don't let your self-identity and what you think and feel about yourself rest totally on how you perform in school. Do your best, but don't let it define you.
I'm not sure if this applies to you or not, but when I was in high school and in junior high, I was a little embarrassed to raise my hand and ask the teacher questions if I wasn't really understanding anything. And now that I'm older, I really wish that I would have just went for it and asked and really understood what was going on. And I think that would have helped me a whole lot.
Because I'm a Christian and I believe in God, I would recommend that you define yourself by how God sees you. And God sees you as someone He loves, someone He adores, someone He really just wants to get to know and have a personal relationship with.
I needed to just put my pride aside, because that would have probably alleviated a lot of the stress that I had when it came around to test taking, just because, you know, I didn't want people to know that I really didn't know what was going on.
Even if you do horribly on a test, God still loves you. He still cares about you. He wants you to do your best. He wants you to try your hardest. He really does want you to study. But even if you do all those things and you still just come up short on those tests, God still loves you. He still cares about you, and He still thinks you're awesome. I hope that was helpful for you guys. For the rest of you who are watching this video, if you have any advice, recommendations, ideas, suggestions for this person or any other teenagers going through something kind of similar, please comment below and let us know. You can click right here and leave a video response so we can actually hear you and see you and interact with you. That would be awesome. And if you're a teenager and you have a question you'd like us to answer in an upcoming video sometime, there's a link in the description below this video here on YouTube where you can anonymously submit a question about anything your goal in life. We will just pretty much answer anything we can, no matter what topic it is or what issue it is. If you're not already subscribed to our videos, you can click right there or click that subscribe button above this video on YouTube. We'd love to have you join us every week as we do our best to answer your questions, really just help you guys out with the stuff you're going through in life as teenagers. And while you're down there in the description, you'll find links where you can connect with us on Facebook and Twitter. We'd love to stay in touch with you guys throughout the week, and I will see you all again next week for another Youth Questions video. Bye.